Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED official podcast. It's time for another This and That episode. So we welcome back Miklos to the show. How are you doing, Miklos?
I am fantastic, Adam.
Excellent. Today's topic is meaningful coaching. As teachers, you have a lot of resources available to you, lesson plans, the teacher manual, this podcast, etc. On top of that, you also have a living, breathing resource, your coach. Someone who can give you tailored advice to your situation to help you make the most of your GrapeSEED lessons. We've talked a lot on this podcast about reaching out to your coach, but today we're going to talk about specifically how your coach can help you and different ways you can utilize this living resource to become even more effective. So Miklos, let's talk coaching. I know this is a big topic on your mind recently. What have been some good examples of relationships you had with teachers in the past when you were a coach in Southern Japan?
Oh wow, there's a lot. There have been good and bad because not everybody is as excited about coaching as others. But most people, luckily, are excited about coaching. There's a few teachers who, through our relationship with GrapeSEED coaching, we actually become great friends, like just outside of quote unquote work, and we end up kind of blurring the lines between when we get together to talk, and these days it's online, of course. We'll get together to talk about. So we'll say, hey, what's up? You want to get together online? Have a few laughs, and we'll talk about just our lives and friend stuff. And then of course it always sort of involves GrapeSEED too, because GrapeSEED is part of our lives, and so we have this nice GrapeSEED family relationship. But there are some teachers where I would go. I'm thinking of one particular school where I would go to their school. This is back when we would go to schools, of course, and we would have lunch together beforehand, before the afternoon lesson started. Go out for lunch and talk about the situation, what's happening at the school, and personally too. I would get to know a person outside of the classroom, the person who's teaching. Like, oh, this is this person's situation. It helps me understand the way that they think and the way that they do certain things. So we get together and have lunch. And in this particular case, there are two teachers there, and so we all have a nice chat and talk about each other. And then I would share about me too, because they would ask me questions like, "Oh, how are your kids? And how is this? And oh, you're doing that now? Wow!" So that they know where I'm coming from. I'm not just some I'm not just some guy that's been dispatched to your school. We got to know each other, and in the best cases, of course, we become friends. And so then go back to class and back to the classroom and set. Sometimes they were set up already, and depending on the time, I would kind of be like, "Hey, you guys, do you need help setting up? Or getting your classroom ready, putting chairs out." I love doing that, and because I'm a teacher, and we would continue talking, and then I would say, "Oh, like this is like, how do you usually set it up? Oh, this is good." And then I could ask questions too, like, "Oh, like what led you to set up the chairs this way? Because this is really interesting. I've never seen this before," and stuff like that. So we could have these kinds of like delving talks about why the teachers have chosen to do certain things in the classroom. Because the way you set up your chairs, the way you set up your cards, your teaching cards, and other components, and where you hide your props, it reveals a lot about you as a teacher. But it also it's a chance to go into what I really believe is the heart of effective coaching, which is we facilitate self-reflection, and that's a lot of that just means that we listen. So like when I haven't even watched the lessons yet, but I'm asking the teacher while we're setting up his classroom, like, "Hey, so how come you set up your chairs like this?" And that is a facilitation of a self-reflection, because then the teacher's like, "Oh," sometimes the teacher has an answer like, "Oh, I do it like this because I tried like that and it wasn't very good," or this and this. Or they say, "Oh, because I have some students who need some special extra care, so I can reach them here better, and pat their shoulder and stuff like that." And then other kids, and this and that, all these different reasons why the chairs would be set up a certain way. Or in another case, it's like, "Well, you know what? I never really thought about that." And then thus the self-reflection begins, which started to facilitate, not in an analytic kind of way, like sit down and let me facilitate for you, like not like that, but just like in a friendly GrapeSEED way. Like, hey, I'm only asking these questions to the teacher, not because I'm looking to jump in and start judging what they're doing, but because I want to help them help their students. And we as GrapeSEED coaches, we care about teachers, not just as teachers who are teaching the curriculum that we happen to work for, but because we care about them as people, because it's people that you said it before, we happen to be living, breathing people, but teachers are the living, breathing, often just panting and sweating because they're working so hard, people who are delivering the curriculum to students and creating that joy. So and then the lesson viewing comes, and so I watch lessons, and I love it when teachers and teachers who are really, where we have a really good relationship, will actually even say, "Oh, boys and girls, say hi to Mr. Miklos," and even maybe use me as a prop in their class, tall, taller, tallest. Who's the tallest? And it's me, of course.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.